Confused by all the different dermoscopes out there and which is the right one for you? Wanting to avoid buyer's regret as you hand over your hard-earned cash? In this video, I'll be giving you my conclusions on the new offerings from Iboolo, the DE3100 Pro. A question for you. When is an Iboolo DE300 not an Iboolo DE3100? Answer, when it's a Pro. Perhaps you've seen there are two versions out there on sale, and which is the best one to buy? What's the difference between the two? And is the extra cost of the Pro version worth it? What I want from a dermoscope in primary care is this. That's not too much to ask, is it? This video explores the 5 questions you need to be asking of any dermoscope you're thinking about buying. Until recently, your only choice was between the German-made Hein or the American Dermlite dermoscopes. Their dermoscopes are of a similar quality and price to each other, and I think it's a personal choice which style you prefer. However, recently the Chinese have come to the market, with Iboolo leading the way with a range of affordable dermoscopes. I'll be reviewing the even cheaper DE400 hybrid dermoscope very soon. It's currently undergoing trials in my spot clinic. When I received my Iboolo DE3100 Pro, I was initially worried. The box didn't have the word Pro written on it, but I needn't have worried. It was still the Pro version inside. If you haven't seen my video on the standard version, then I recommend you watch that. Why? Because this Pro version is exactly the same, apart from simple changes to the LED lights and how the buttons work. This was my summary when comparing the Iboolo DE100 standard version to my Dermlite DL3. It comes in the same box with a USB-C charging cable, phone camera attachment, sturdy box and cleaning cloth. What's not to like? This is how the two buttons on the standard dermoscope work. Confused? Well, I was. You get used to it, but for primary care, the orange light, or what's called pigment boost, I think is a hindrance rather than a help. I wrote to Iboolo and they have listened, having nicely simplified things for the Pro version in this way. A quick press on the left-hand button switches it on, and the same button then toggles the light between the polarized and non-polarized light settings. A 3-second press switches the dermoscope off again. Simples! The right-hand button only works when the dermoscope is switched on and switches on the 4 ultraviolet light LEDs. The advantage of LED light in dermoscopy is still being researched, but you can download a recent 2004 review article in the video description below. Having read it, I don't think it's much use in primary care, but I'm open to changing my mind on that in the future. But it does function as a woods light, for instance, showing up the coral red of erythrasma due to Corynebacterium skin infections and in other rashes. I'm not ditching my standard woods light yet because I'm not convinced this is powerful enough to use when removed from the skin. But if you don't have a woods light, this could be a really useful tool to help you diagnose those difficult rashes. The use of ultraviolet light in diagnosing general skin rashes is poorly taught, so to help you, I found a great summary article you can download in the video description below. Let me now show you some videos taken with the Pro dermoscope on a capillary hemangioma, SEB-K, and then a reticular nevus and intradermal nevus. You'd not expect much to change between the polarized and non-polarized light settings with a capillary hemangioma, and there isn't much difference. The seborrheic keratosis here has 2 milia, which flash up quite nicely on the non-polarized settings, being more superficial in the epidermis, showing that this is a true hybrid dermoscope. When pressing the right-hand button and switching on the ultraviolet light setting, it doesn't provide us with any extra information. This reticular nevus shows a very nice network pattern with nothing changing between the various light settings, as would be expected. Likewise, the wobble-positive intradermal nevus shows the typical slightly out of focus vessels, some even of a comma shape. On the ultraviolet light settings, the white dots are just white flakes of dust showing up. Comparing this Pro version to the standard version offers these improvements. Firstly, it's simpler to use with a single button to switch from polarized to non-polarized light and also functioning as the on-off switch. Secondly, as a bonus, the addition of ultraviolet light setting gives you access to a useful tool to diagnose skin rashes, although its use in dermoscopy I am yet to be convinced about. But if the use of ultraviolet light increases in dermoscopy, you are future-proofed with this Pro version. The downsides of the Pro version are it's slightly more expensive than the standard version. Also, I'd like these buttons to be raised so they're easier to find. In summary, the Iboolo DE3100 standard version was already a good starter or intermediate level dermoscope for use in primary care. They have all the accessories you need when starting out. If you're buying your first dermoscope, then the simplicity of the buttons in the Pro version means I would recommend it if the extra cost isn't a problem for you. However, if you had the standard version, I'm not convinced it's worth the extra money to upgrade to the Pro version. And now you have your new dermoscope, all you need to do is know how to use it and how to avoid the common pitfalls people fall into. For that, you should be considering watching this video here. Search for the best price on the internet, as they do vary. And if this is still too much for your budget, then when I've done my review of the even more affordable DE400, it will appear in a link at the end of this video. So that's what I think. But what does Isabel think after using it for 2 months? Does she agree with me? And will she swap her current standard Iboolo DE3100 for the Pro version? Let's see. Morning, Isabel, how are you?
I am good, Thank you. Good morning.
Looking bright and smiley as normal.
Thank you very much.
Okay, how's your dermoscopy going?
Good, very good. Yeah.
Okay, still enjoying it?
Very much so.
Learning new things?
Every single day.
Fantastic. So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at the Iboolo DE3100 Pro.
Yeah.
Is it worth that extra money? Are you going to stick with that DE3100?
I think I'd stick
not
with
the
this
Pro.
one. Yeah,
Okay.
I think, again, because the picture that you get from using it is literally exactly the same apart from the
Right.
UV light. I haven't benefited from using the UV light, so
Okay.
for me personally,
Yeah.
it isn't worth it.
Sure.
So I'd probably stick with just the original one. It's still good and I still really enjoy using it.
So, Iboolo DE3100 or DE3100 Pro? The choice is yours. Training a primary care dermoscopist for every general practice.